Dan, this is my 07 Speed 3.
And I'm Noah. This is my 2010 Mazdaspeed3.
The reason I like his car is that mine's more of a, I guess, street autocross car. This is a highway monster. So whereas mine won't pull too hard in the higher gears, it just keeps going. What my car isn't, his car is. So we kind of fill each other's gap. So.
Yeah, Dan's will take corners really well. Mine takes it all right, but he's got the really wide tires for grip. But mine just pulls for fourth gear all the way. It just keeps going the entire time.
23 PSI?
24.
24 PSI.
25 on a good day.
All right, you guys, this is going to be a very, let's just say enlightening episode. I'm very excited for today. I've never driven a Mazdaspeed3, and here today we've got two of them. We've got this first gen Mazdaspeed3, and then we've got Noah and his second gen Mazdaspeed3. So let's go for a drive. We're gonna kind of do a quick comparison with the two, yet more importantly, the owner's perspectives on modifying these cars and modifying these platforms as they become more rare and more sought after now that Mazda no longer makes the Mazdaspeed3 and has basically announced that they have no intention of making another Mazdaspeed3. So this is Daniel's 07 Mazdaspeed3. It's got a few modifications, bolt-ons, got an intercooler, and it's got some ECU tuning, some dyno tuning. So it is basically making the most efficient power that you can make without kind of going big turbo, water meth, and stuff like Noah has done. And we'll get to his car in a second. We're gonna start with the first gen. I have driven a first gen Mazda 3 before, just not a Mazdaspeed 3. So this is very, very different. So factory, the Mazdaspeed 3 puts down 263 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque at the crank, okay? This one here, just kind of with basic bolt-ons and factory turbo, is putting down almost 300 horsepower at the wheels and 350 pound-feet of torque at the wheels. Very torquey engine. These engines are notoriously torquey. Oh yeah, she's fast. Whoa, torque steer even from 100 kilometers an hour. Really, yeah, really sets you back in your seat. Wow, that spools up quick though too. Wow. Much quicker than I thought it would be. That turbo spools up incredibly quickly. Incredibly quickly. Wow. Immediately you will, oh yeah, holy crap. They were not kidding about the torque steer. There's so much torque steer. Oh my God. Oh yeah, it's pulling. Lots of grip though, lots of grip, and it is a cold morning out here this morning, let me tell you that much. So first things you notice is the steering. Yeah, see that steering wheel right there? It wants to rip out of your hands and it spools up, like it just hits. Like the boost just hits and then you have power that just carries and carries. Now it does flatten off a little bit towards the top end, but yeah, it desperately wants to rip the steering wheel out of your hands.
Okay, so it's completely stock, but then I rode in his car, and then it all kind of went all wrong. And then I did the basic mods like intake, fuel pump. I realized, okay, that's not enough. And that's kind of where it went: wheel, suspension, brakes, intercooler, tune. You know, most of these speeds, they tend to blow up around 160,000 K. It's at 248, still holds compression, breaks hearts, so I'm happy.
Let's pour one out for all the broken speeds out there.
It's not crazy, but it's enough. It's enough. That's what this car is, it's enough.
It's really good street car territory.
Yeah, it's my daily driver. I put a lot of miles on it annually, so that's what it's built for, and that's where I drive it. I came from like Civics, Civic hatchbacks, EK, EG, EF, Integras, so I've always been in the, I guess, hatchback scene. Typical, you know, non-VTEC Hondas, they don't make much power, right? So it's like, okay, let's find a hatchback that has some power, and this is, you know, quick hatchback.
Biggest hardship you probably had was battling the knock.
Yeah.
Just trying to find the source of knock.
Yes. I ended up having to replace almost everything to fix it. From like injector seals to this seal, that seal. Pretty much everything that can be replaced has been replaced.
It just yanks you to the right. Now, both the first gen and second gen Mazdaspeed3 came stock standard with a limited slip differential. Now there are a few aftermarket options if you want a little bit more of an aggressive limited slip, but as far as I know, if you want to throw like winter tires on these cars, they do quite well in the snow and in the rain. It's pretty remarkable, but they both came with the LSD, so that's good. They both have slightly different steering than the factory Mazda 3. They are, you know, stiffer, and there's a little bit more chassis bracing on both of these cars from the stock standard Mazda 3. So it's not just Mazda putting a speed name after the Mazda name and sticking it together in a badge and adding more power, and adding a turbo rather. It's not that. It is actually much more, and much more than I initially had kind of anticipated before getting into these cars. Yeah, there's traction control. Finally, second gear, we got it to spin. Wow, 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 wow. Gotta warm up the brakes a little bit. The steering, the direct steering is honestly one of the best traits, one of my favorite traits so far of this car. Very easy to heel toe, very easy to just get in, jump in and drive. You know, that's what I love most about these hopped up kind of daily drivers. Focuses, Fiestas, Imprezas, Evos, they're all based on, you know, a standard kind of daily driving platform, but then the manufacturer just hops them up a little bit, so all the inputs are really friendly. There's no compromise in how the inputs are and how it kind of drives from day to day and just kind of cruising and whatnot. So it's really easy to jump in and just heel toe, and the visibility's great. The shifter, I don't know what these guys have done with these shifters.
I like how Dan's car just keeps fighting. It's got 250K and just somehow it's still alive. I don't understand it. And like mine blew up at 170 with the previous owner. But just like seeing Dan's car, it's completely defied all odds. Every single BC Mazda member recognizes that. Like sitting at 250K is just.
I think it's one of the higher. I think it's the highest daily driven speed in BC Mazda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, totally.
So.
I don't know what I changed on Dan's car. I really like a well put together rear end, and we were talking about this yesterday. I love the front ends on the Gen 1s, but the second gen has the best rear end, like the quarter panel area. And so I just think it needs something, a diffuser, mud flaps, like a wing extension. It needs something.
The funny thing is I'm the other way around. I like the front end of the Gen 2, but I'm not the biggest fan of the rear of the Gen 2. I don't know why.
It's just the quarter panel gets me every time.
But I don't like the taillights.
The
squinty eyes.
That's fair. That's fair. What about the big smiley face on the front, right?
You know what? I didn't like it at first. But then I guess I hang out with you too much. Now I like it.
You do.
So
you do hang out with me too much.
Yeah, you gotta be ready. You really do have to be ready for that torque steer. Corner's nice though, feels very, very balanced. I mean, dive in gradually. You know, the key is throttle control with these cars. If you've never driven a hot hatch, you know, they all kind of have that in common, and the Mazdaspeed3 is no different. Throttle control is everything. Throttle discipline is everything. Yeah, it just jumps all over the road. And you know, some people might think of that as a negative thing. I I love it. It's a lively car. These are the cars that make you into, if you're not already a driving enthusiast, not already a car enthusiast, and you hop into a car like this, a Mazdaspeed3 with insane amounts of torque steer, that will make you into a driving enthusiast. You will be hooked like that. Let's go hop in the Gen 2 and see what that is all about. Here is a second gen, more importantly, here is Noah's second gen Mazdaspeed3. Yeah, this thing's a little bit insane, okay? 400 horsepower at the wheels. I think roughly around 440 pound-feet of torque at the wheels of a turbocharged 2.3 liter engine. Fairly similar engines, little key differences. I believe the pistons were slightly different. The factory ECU tuning is slightly different in the second gen, among a couple of other things. It's got good steering. It's definitely lighter steering, not as direct, not nearly as direct. It's got a little bit looser of a steering rack. It's not quite as tight. This is just a little bit nicer of a place to be if it's a daily driver. Mine is the stiffness of the suspension. It is still, you know, it's still quite all right for a daily in terms of ride quality. Oh yeah, there's torque steer. 25% throttle torque steer. And the seating position. The seating position, immediately you'll notice it is a little bit higher up than the first gen. You're not quite as hunkered down. The view out the hood is phenomenal in this car though. I'll tell you that, the theater of everything going on around you in this car is pretty remarkable, especially in Noah's case. Really good grip though. Like I said, it's a very cold day out today, but God, these cars are gripping wonderfully. Oh yeah, there's the power. Wow. It's a lot more gradual, but it's quite a bit quicker in a straight line. Quite a bit quicker in a straight line.
The origin story of this car starts back August of 2018. I bought a first gen Mazdaspeed3 off of somebody I knew out of BC Mazda, and that was a great car. I wouldn't say I wouldn't trade it because, you know, I did sell it, and that's I sold that in December, but I couldn't get rid of the itch, and so I ended up buying my current 2010 because I knew the person who was selling it, and I thought it was a great car with all the mods that were done. Yeah, it needed a lot of work though. Sorry Tyler, but it needed a lot of work. So I spent the last 11 months fixing every single thing on the car. Clutch, I mean, just crazy things done to the engine bay. I had a eBay blow-off valve, and I had like just some of the most questionable modifications I would have ever seen in my life. But I've done water methanol injection now. I've done a little bit of exhaust work, a lot of suspension work, wheels and tires. Like the entire appearance as the car has totally changed. It went from being something that looked like the previous owner's car, it now became my car. It's definitely a car I love, and I've grown to love. It's got a character now. Everyone knows the story of the car. It's just, everyone who's seen it knows I work on the car, knows what I've put into it, made something productive out of it.
So you can kind of gradually roll into it, and after 4,000, oh yeah, there the tires were breaking loose, trying to rip me off the road. Third gear it hooks up though. Third gear it hooks up and pulls hard. Couple of crackles from the exhaust. You know, the exhaust is definitely a little more lively in this car. This car's just a little more manic. Oh man, that is some good fun though. Oh, but I never knew Mazdaspeed3s could get so fast and so insane and so crazy, you know? Still though, like honestly, really nice steering. Yeah, the torque steers, I mean, oh, it's there. Yeah, okay, it's still there, but it's manageable. It's manageable. It's a lot more manageable in this car. Like, you gotta be aware, and it can definitely get away from you very quickly. Yeah, it's really good fun. Really good fun. You know, this is definitely louder than Daniel's car, but it's not unbearable. You know, it's a little bassy. It's got a nice growl to it from the outside, and I don't use the term growl lightly. You know, a lot of V8 guys will be like, a 4-cylinder can never growl. I beg to differ in some cases. Wow, whoa. Once you hit 5,000 RPM, there's so much boost.
Yeah, so turbo setup, it's a 68mm turbo from Corksport, the Mazdaspeed aftermarket manufacturer. Car's on water methanol injection, 50/50. It kicks in at about 9 pounds of boost and carries all the way to 24. It's got full 3-inch turbo back exhaust. It's got 2.5-inch intake and upgraded intercoolers. And those are really the key features of the entire performance system. Makes a lot of torque, puts a smile on my face, you know, smiles per gallon and all, but in terms of suspension and wheels, it's got Work T7Rs, 18 by 9.5s. It's got BC Racing coilovers. That's really it in terms of key features for the car.
Yeah, it pulls all the way to the top. All the way to the top. That was 15 kilometers an hour, very quickly. Yeah, the first gen with the stock turbo, obviously pushing a little more boost. It's more of like a boom, smack, hit, boost is on, and then it kind of dies out towards the top. This is like a really just power, power, power. It just begs you to just keep going up in the RPMs. When are you gonna, don't shift yet, don't shift yet. You know, when are you gonna shift? Not now. Keep going. Holy shit. Oh my God, every time you get into boost, it's a new thing, it's a new experience. Like, look at that. Wow. Wow. There's not even enough road. Dives in really nicely. The back end rotates around beautifully. Just a little bit more turbo lag, but not much. You know, it's not a huge sacrifice. When you're in boost though and you hit like a little bit of an undulation in the pavement, kind of skips over it a little bit, you really kind of got to be holding onto the wheel at all times. At all times. Wow.
A lot of it comes down to luxuries in my opinion. The cars mechanically are really close. But the second generation, you get a lot more of the modern car features, whereas the first gen's a lot bare bones. But the second gen, you get things like the leveling headlights, and you get the heated seats. And
I guess some other differences would be the gearing on the Gen 2 is a bit longer. If you want more of a grown-up, more comfortable car, I'd say go with the Gen 2. If you're more of a, I don't know, urban driver, I'd say.
Hot boy.
Hot boy? No, your car's hot boy.
My car's hot boy
Yeah,
status.
mine's not. Gen 2, more grown up.
Yeah,
That's all I can
totally.
say. It's
I
more
look at my
grown up.
car every day and I think, yeah, that's a grown-up car. Yeah. I'll go to my business meeting in this car. Everyone will. Yeah.
Loud exhaust.
Set up a few car alarms while I'm at it too.
Yeah, might as well.
Wow. Good stuff. All right, you guys, that is a pair of modified Mazdaspeed3s. These guys are crazy. Mazdaspeed people, I've come to realize in the last 15 minutes, are crazy people. Okay? And they just, you know, it's the cars themselves that kind of bring it out of them, I feel like. And that's definitely to be said here with both of these builds. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I sure did. Daniel and Noah, thank you so much. Hit me up on Instagram at Roads Untraveled. We have jet tags. We got an L3 VDT jet tag. We've got, you know, 3S GTE, RB26, RB25. The link is in the description. A bunch of different engine codes for you guys to nerd out on. And we'll give you 10% off just for the love of the Mazdas for this video. So hit the link in the description. You can check that out at shop.roadsuntraveled.com. We'll see you guys next time.